Really? Hmm. Let's make sure we're live. Microphone on and not muted. I'm very good at that. Let's see. Still 1 minute early. Look at me on top of shit. Instead of late. Hey. All right. Let's make sure we're live on YouTube. Hey, hey. There we go. Good morning, business owners. How are you today? Come on in. If you're watching on YouTube, but you want to actually interact and like chat and ask questions, and you will want to make sure to come over to the community at businesstradeup.com/community. That is our little corner of Facebook where we can chat and like get your questions answered real time. If you're in the Facebook group, say hi in the chat, because otherwise I feel like I'm talking to myself into the nether whatever. So say hi. How are you today? It is a very cold and snowy day. It is currently, let me see, 15 degrees outside and very cold, but sunny. So we have snow on the ground. So as you come in, say hello so that I know who I'm speaking to. Make sure that the audio is working, that everything is working properly. Sometimes I don't even know until someone's like, we can't hear you, Brooke. And I'm like, oops. So come in and say hi in the chat. And let me know if you have any questions. Kimberly, how are you? Kimberly said, hey there, I never get the chance to be a part of these. How are you? Oh my gosh, your wedding photos looked amazing. For anyone that has no idea what I'm talking about, Kimberly got married at a historical landmark downtown, which has this giant clock tower. I've shot there several times. It is absolutely stunning. How are you doing? Come on into chat, say hi. Finally getting a break this week. I feel you. I have just been like dragging this week. It's so funny. Most people say that they feel really energized by the full moon. And I'm like, that is when I am usually like, oh. And I looked it up, and I was actually born on a new moon. And some people say that when you're born on a certain moon cycle, their energy can coincide with that too. So kind of interesting, but welcome, welcome. If you have any questions that I can answer, I'm happy to do so. Kimberly said Valentine's Day punched me in the face. Yeah, I bet. Do you do a lot of custom orders for Valentine's Day? Because I really wish my husband would have called you instead of getting me this weird bear that he got me. I'm not sure why, but that's fine. It was very sweet. I just don't know what I'm going to do with this bear, and it's huge. Like, where's this going to go in my house? I would have definitely preferred your lovely trees. Come on in, ask any questions you may have in the chat. I always have backup options to talk about. Kimberly said fail. Yeah, but that's okay. He tried, right? I don't know why though. I'm like, never in my life have I asked for a bear that says Valentine's Day with the year on it. It's fine. It's cool. So let me know in the chat if you have any questions I can answer for you, or I will just start talking, because I have literally like a giant list of topics that we can go through and kind of walk through. Kimberly said that's what really matters. Yeah, it is. It is something that I have accepted through the years. So I wanted to tell you, first of all, I have 2 podcast episodes coming soon that are rather big ones for me. It's the first time that I've talked about running a business with ADHD and the strategies that I have learned to help me do that. People with ADHD are 300 times more likely to start their own business. And I think that that is, first of all, something I could have told you too, but I just didn't have the data to back it up. It fits us, right? Like it absolutely fits the fact that we don't really fit into the rest of the world. I always joke I'm basically unemployable at this point because I do my own thing. I say what I want, I wear what I want, I do what I want. And it just doesn't work to try and fit me in somewhere else. I saw a notebook the other day. The cover of it had a cat with sunglasses on. I'll have to share it. It said, I do this cool thing. It's called What I Want. It's like, that is so applicable. So I have 2 episodes coming out about how to run a business with ADHD. Even if you don't have ADHD, even if you don't feel that, there are some business strategies in there that will absolutely help you, especially if you sometimes sit down and you have a hard time focusing or a hard time staying motivated to do what you need to do, especially when you're just growing your business. And it's like, I feel like I'm talking to no one. I feel like no one is reading my shit. It is really hard to stay motivated in that time. So I do have 2 episodes coming. It was so long, I cut it into 2 instead of just doing 1. So there's a part 1 and part 2. And so those are coming. And we're also going to start talking about WPPI because I leave next weekend for WPPI. For any of my photographer friends who will be there, I want you to come and say hi to me because I will only be there for a few days because I have a trip that was already planned. And I leave for California on March 1st. So I got to fly home on the 28th, take off on the 1st. That will be the first time I'm ever doing that. So that will be interesting. But I wanted to talk today about entitlement, which is funny because so many people are going to be like, those millennials feel like they're entitled to own a home and should get rid of their avocado toast. Which is fucking laughable, right? Like if the $3 you spend on avocados is going to make up for the like mortgages that are literally 5 times the amount, it's laughable. But in business, we do have this sense of entitlement, right? Like, well, you should just tell me how to do it so that I can do it. But the reality is that as a business owner, you are stepping outside of the how. You are stepping outside of the norm. You are stepping outside of being an employee where you get a manual. It doesn't work that way. And if it did, then every single person who has ever purchased one of my courses, every single person who has ever purchased any guide from any educator would be crazy successful right now. But they're not. Why is that? We have literally given you the how. The problem is that, first of all, the how doesn't always necessarily fit into how you want to run your business. So I can tell you how to do something, but the bottom line is you have to tweak it for yourself. Sorry, you're going to hear my dog. You have to tweak it for yourself. You have to figure it out and how it works into your business and your life. I've been struggling with this for the past year or so because as an educator, I see all my friends who are educators as well, and they have numbers that are very different from mine, but I have to remind myself that they are doing 2 and 3 times more sessions than I am. And I don't want to do that. I'm not willing to do that. My body, I have arthritis, is like, no, not going to happen. And so for me to be able to run a super successful, sustainable, and profitable business, working with clients 1, sometimes 2 times a week, that's pretty fucking awesome. And I know that there are people out there who want to do the same. So the bottom line is you have to take the information that you're given, but then tweak it to fit into your life and your business, because it is not one size fits all. And I know that most of us are like, well, yeah, I know that, Brooke, but do you really? Really? Because if you're expecting someone to just hand you the how, to just hand you a list of steps that you need to do, and then everything will be perfect and everything will mean success, then you're not really an entrepreneur. You're someone who is expecting things to be handed to you. And business owners, we don't work that way. You figure it out. You try over and over again. You fail over and over again. And you're like, well, that sucked. Let's try something else. Let's try something new. And you figure it out and you take notes and you make observations on what worked and what didn't work. so that you can tweak it and change and move forward. And the people who don't give up are the people who are successful. So many people want to go buy a course or get the how or buy a guide or have a mentoring meeting and have someone tell them how to do it, but they're not willing to do the brain work that it takes to get past some of the mindset shifts that have to happen for that how to actually work. If you don't believe that you're worth charging the price that you need to charge in order to have a sustainable business, it doesn't matter how many pricing guides you buy. It's not going to work because your mindset doesn't match where you want to be. So I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm probably going to do a podcast episode on this later. I should probably write that down. This is one of the tips that I give you when it comes to running a business and having all of these ideas, because so many of us are visionaries, right? Like we have this idea and this idea and this idea. It clouds our focus and our brains so that we can't work on what we need to actually do to move forward in our business to meet our goals. So that is one of the strategies I share of having a brain dump place, having a place where you can just throw all the shit, all the ideas, all the craziness, all the awesomeness, all the chaos. Having a place where you can dump it and come back to it later is crazy, crazy important. So that's one of the strategies I mentioned in the upcoming podcast episodes. I'm curious, let me know in the chat, Kimberly and anyone else who's watching, have you guys purchased courses and then either you do nothing with them or you have the how and you're still not seeing results? And then you look back and realize, oh yeah, that's because I didn't actually do that. I didn't actually implement the steps because I was afraid to. It's so funny. I teach email marketing, website strategy, and so much of that means showing your work and putting yourself out there. So much of what I teach requires vulnerability. It requires stepping in front of a crowd and saying, here's what I created, and knowing that half of those people are going to say that fucking sucks and it's going to hurt. But the other half of the people are going to be like, that's amazing. Where can I buy it? And we have to accept that. It's not always going to be 100% win. You're going to have those clients that are like, I can't believe you charge that much. Who do you think you are? Where do you think you get away with this? Blah, 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 blah. And you have to let it go. Because you're going to have another client that goes, oh, really? That's all? There's a balance there, and we have to figure it out. Kimberly said, I get them and I never get around to using them. Yes, I have literally a list. Now, I know we've talked about this before. I have a list of classes and workshops that I have purchased. And to be fair, a lot of them come in a bundle. So like if there's 2 classes I want in a bundle, it's like $97. I'm like, I'll get the bundle. And it has like 150 courses in it. So I just keep a running list of all of them, but it's really helpful for like when I need a reference point of like, how do I do that on Instagram? I'll just go and look for the class and I'll do Control F on my keyboard, which is another huge tip to find an Instagram class that I can go and grab real quick. So it works out very well, but so many people get these courses, and even if they do them and go through the course, they're not actually implementing anything because we have to match up who we are being and our current actions and moods with the person that we want to be and the goals that we want to reach. And that can be really, really, really hard. We have to think of, okay, in 5 years, I want to have this much revenue. I want to have this home. I want to have this car. I want to be taking these vacations. I want to send my kids to this school or whatever it is for you. So what does it look like to be that person now? What is that person doing every morning before they start work? Are they taking time to themselves? Are they journaling? Are they working out? Y'all know I don't love working out, but I have been going to yoga regularly, We have to start thinking ahead at who we want to be so that we can implement the things we learn. We can learn all the things, and you guys, I've been there. I am a procrastinating expert. I will put off the things I need to do in order to be learning and then do nothing with what I'm learning. Why? Why? To put off actually putting yourself out there, to avoid the fear that comes with knowing that you're going to be rejected. Look, you could be the most amazing person in the world and there will still be someone that doesn't like you. You could make the most amazing product in the world. Look, Tesla. How many people love their Teslas and they will talk your ear off about how amazing their Teslas are? And there are people that don't like Tesla. You could be the most amazing piece of chocolate in the world. And you're like, this piece of chocolate is worth $1 million. Just this one piece of chocolate. And someone is not going to like it. And yet we stop ourselves from putting ourselves out there because we're afraid of that person that doesn't like it. Why? It's bullshit. So we are somewhat entitled when it comes to the how. Well, you should just give me how, but the bottom line is that is abdicating responsibility to someone else. Because if I tell you how, if I give you the information and you take that information and you're still not seeing the success that you want to see, then it's my fault. It's not your fault. And that's bullshit. One of the number one keys in life and in business to seeing the success that you want to see is taking responsibility for the results. Because you can't control all the things around you. You can't control the economy. You can't control the stock market. You can't control the crazies on the road. You can't control the COVID shit. You can't control any of that. But you can control yourself. And if something happens to damage the process that you're using, or not even damage, but maybe take away, maybe something changes, and you don't have the mindset of fuck around and figure it out, then you're going to be lost. You have to be taking responsibility instead of feeling entitled to someone just handing you things. Hard truth, probably not going to be very popular. That's okay though. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, I'm kind of used to not being very popular. I mean, I wasn't picked on in school. I mean, I was to a little bit, but not to the extent that I know some people were. But I was also definitely not popular. I was just kind of there. I just kind of enjoyed myself, which is kind of my life, right? So let me know in the chat if you have any questions, if there's anything I can answer for you. Otherwise, we can wrap it up today. I do try not to make these super long, but sometimes when we have questions, I go a lot longer than I should. I find that even in my sessions, I tend to overshoot. Like I plan on, I really want to be done at this time, but I always tell my clients, it might not be that time, and that's okay. I hope that this helps and is some food for thought. I know it's not going to be popular with everyone, but I will tell you right now, the people that I see that are crazy successful in their businesses are taking responsibility for the results. They are looking at the results and saying, well, that didn't work. And instead of going, it's her fault, it's his fault, that didn't work, it's someone else's fault, they're saying, all right, that didn't work. Yes, it may have been because of something someone else did, but what can I do to figure it out and move forward? That is success. And until you master that skill of responsibility and not being entitled to things in your business, then you're going to keep repeating the same pattern. So have an amazing rest of your day. I hope that you're staying warm if you are in an area that has cold weather, because I'm looking outside at the snow right now. You can always tell in my window what the weather is like because it's crazy bright when there's snow because the sun reflects off. I hope that you are staying warm and cozy and have an amazing rest of your day.